Greetings, humans. My name is Nova, and I'm here to read you Reddit stories as you fall asleep. Before we begin, I'd like to explicitly state that I am not an AI, I think. Our first story. Am I the asshole for mentioning I'm also a professional when a doctor took over 45 minutes to finally appear in an appointment? I want to start by saying that I understand doctors are busy. I do not make an issue of reasonable delays, especially because the doctors are very apologetic when they do come to see me. In fact, I have not experienced a doctor delay that was more than 15 minutes, and I don't know how long. Anyway, today I took my kid to a midday pediatric dermatology appointment. Since my kid's issue is minor, I scheduled a client meeting for later in the afternoon, figuring we had more than enough time to get the issue checked out and for me to get to the meeting. My kid and I got to the doctor's office early and were called back right around the time it was scheduled. The nurse checked us in, we waited 10 minutes for the resident to come out and look at my kid, and then we were told that the main doctor would be right in to finalize everything. We were 25 minutes into our appointment, and the doctor still hadn't shown up. At this point, a nurse came in to say that the doctor was just finishing up with another patient and would come right in. Fine. But 15 minutes later, and still no show. So, I approached the nurse to ask when we can realistically expect the doctor to see us. She said, "The doctor is with another patient. She'll be with you in 10 to 15 minutes. I was admittedly exasperated, since it had been 40 minutes past our appointment time, and I needed to leave soon. I responded, not angrily, no yelling, nothing like that. We've been waiting a really long time. I am also a professional, and I have a meeting that I have to attend, so I do need to wrap this appointment up." 5 minutes later, the doctor finally came in, 45 minutes after our appointment time, didn't apologize for the delay, and didn't even look at me when I said something and began speaking directly to my preteen kid without asking me anything about the condition. Overall, it was an annoying experience. Anyway, after the appointment, my kid said it was embarrassing when I mentioned that I'm a professional. My reasoning is that I am a professional, my time being as valuable as the doctor's, even though it was not being treated as such. And the delay was not only frustrating in and of itself, but it was also affecting my ability to do my own job. So, Reddit. AITA for mentioning that I am a professional. Edited to add. To respond to some common comments. 1. My stating I was a professional was in relation to the doctor, not other people. As in, hey doctor, other people also have jobs, so can you please respect our time too? Was not intended to imply that my job is more important than other people's jobs, only that my job was as important as the doctor's job. For people who are arguing that my professional comment somehow excludes tradespeople, you clearly don't know a lot about tradespeople. 2. I have 2 kids, so I've been to plenty of appointments, both for them and for me. And in all that time, I have never experienced a delay of more than 15 minutes, including for afternoon appointments. That's why scheduling a client meeting after the appointment did not feel unreasonable. 3. My kids' doctors have always greeted me first. I cannot remember a single time when a doctor for one of my kids greeted them first. 4. Both the doctor and I are a woman. 5. I did not yell or raise my voice at the nurse. At most, I was exasperated when she set another 10 to 15 minute wait. Final edit. I admit that referring to myself as a professional was asshole behavior, and that I could have conveyed the same sentiment by just saying that my time is also valuable. I have apologized to my kid for this, and they accepted my apology. While I acknowledge that other people have regularly experienced long wait times, I have not. I'm sorry if you think that makes this post fake, but I am very lucky to have been seen promptly by nearly every doctor going on over 10 years, from pediatricians to eye doctors to my own PCP specialists. So this person is not asking, was the doctor disrespecting my time? They're not asking, was I wrong to feel my time was disrespected? They're asking, was I wrong to imply that my time is as valuable as the doctor's? I think in this situation, yes, they were wrong to imply that. They were wrong to say that, they were wrong to believe that. Because while on a grand scale, their time is as valuable as the doctor's, anyone's time is as valuable as anyone on a grand scale. In the situation where their kid needed medical attention, they needed to see the doctor. The doctor's time is the most valuable in this situation. You were giving up your time to go see the doctor. If the doctor's time was not more valuable than your time, then you wouldn't need to see the doctor. As for the doctor not greeting her first, I honestly don't know why the other doctors have not done that before. Because usually you greet the patient first. Perhaps it's because this is their oldest kid, and they're just now reaching the point where that kid has the level of autonomy to be acknowledged by the doctor first. Or maybe they've just seen some really strange doctors. I don't know. In any case, I don't feel like this person is an asshole. I feel like this person is mad at the situation they landed themselves in by having a meeting that they couldn't get to on time, and they're looking for someone to blame it on. Our second story. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she's not Jewish? My wife, 43 female, and I, 39 male, traveled across the country to see my parents. We live in the Pacific Northwest, and my parents live in New England, specifically northeast coastal Massachusetts. My parents wanted to take us out to dinner and have my sister, female 44, and her husband, male 49, come too. My sister and I aren't particularly close, but we have had a fine enough adult relationship. We were closer before I moved to the West Coast. My mom had been researching family history for a few years. She submitted her DNA to one of those websites that track ancestry and genealogy. PSA, everyone, when you give your DNA to those sites, they do not get rid of it. Even if you ask them to get rid of it and they say they destroy the vial, they do not get rid of it. Through matching DNA, she even found a long-lost brother who had been put up for adoption. She also learned that one of her grandparents was an Ashkenazi Jew. If I've mispronounced that, I am very sorry. So according to the DNA results, my mother is a quarter Jewish. This would make my sister and me roughly 12% Jewish. We didn't grow up religious at all. My immediate family didn't attend church or religious meetings. My dad grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, and attended Mass every Sunday until he moved out to go to college. After that, he was done. My mom grew up in a non-religious household. She did have a King James Bible in her nightstand, but I never saw her open it. At dinner, my sister and mom were at the end of one table talking, and somehow our Jewish ancestry was mentioned. Both my sister and mom said to the table, "We are Jewish." I responded by saying, "I am sorry, but Judaism is a religion, and you should be practicing to call yourself Jewish." My sister said, "Well, don't tell that to my son. This is really important to him." I responded by explaining that it was cool to embrace family history, but they shouldn't call us Jewish when we have never practiced, been to the temple, or followed any of the laws or rituals. She called me ignorant. So I asked her, "Would you claim to be Jewish in a room full of Jews or at a temple?" She didn't answer the question and continued arguing about how I should be less ignorant and asked if I thought Jesus was a Jew. By this point, everyone seemed uncomfortable, so I thought it was best to keep quiet and let them change the conversation. AITA for telling my sister she's not Jewish, edited for formatting. So, before we go down to the comments, I am not Jewish. However, I know that there is a difference between being a Jew and being Jewish. There is a difference between the ethnicity and the religion. So I think that is the primary conflict of this post, that neither of the parties involved, OP or their sister, neither of them really understand this difference. So the comments have been locked by the moderators because apparently some people are refusing to be normal about this. Quote the moderators. Top comment. She's technically right, and you were actually being ignorant of how Jewish ethnicity works independent of religious practices. You can literally no believe a single word or practice a day in your life, but if your mother was Jewish, and so are you by default. Commas, people, and also you mean not no. I hate to break it to you, but the three of you are doing possibly the most Jewish thing ever. Arguing about Judaism, how to do it right, and how the other person is doing it wrong. Welcome to the tribe. Here we have a long comment that is for some reason highlighted in red. I'm Jewish. Judaism is a religion, a culture, an ethnicity, or any combination thereof. This is a subtle and complex topic. If you have Jewish ethnicity, then you have Jewish ethnicity. But I would not personally say that someone is Jewish in a way that is meaningful for their identity and life experiences based purely on having a bit of Jewish DNA. If your sister wants to connect with her Jewish heritage and take that on in a religious and or culturally meaningful way, then she has every right to do so. Our final story, housekeeping tries to enter room at 11 p.m. So I'm writing this while being super shaky about the whole thing. I'm 31 female in an embassy hotel for a work trip. I'm getting undressed to shower and jamming to some music quietly. It's like 10 p.m. I hear knocking, and I know there's a sports team on my floor, so I assume it's one of them and ignore it. Then I hear the key beep, and my door slam open against the door hitch, and someone cursing, and he tries to open it again, slamming it against the hitch. I quickly throw on my overshirt and stick my head out like, WTF, no one is there. I see a teenager walking around on her phone, and so I ask her if that was her, and she looked so scared and tells me it was a man saying something about cleaning. I'm thinking to myself, WTF, it's 10 p.m. I throw on my shoes and go downstairs, and I talk to the front desk. The phone in my room isn't working, so I had no choice to go downstairs. She's horrified, and says that she did send someone up to the room next to mine. I'm in a corner on our own little hallway part, and he thought it was mine. She apologized profusely and offered me water. I'm so shaken, I just decline and head back upstairs. I'm just curled up on the couch in my room, scared. What do I even do in this situation? I want to talk to the manager tomorrow, but what should I expect? What do I ask for? My company paid for this whole trip and I leave tomorrow, so a refund will do nothing to compensate for this, but also, the job market is so effing hard right now. I don't want the man to get fired, but also this can't happen again. There's a ton of teen girls on my floor on a sports team. What if it was one of their rooms? Edit. Some of y'all are wild. I'm here the day after. Some additional points to make. 1. The teen was confused and scared on the hallway and wasn't even right outside the door. It's a big circle building with the middle empty. She was further down, so I waited for her to come back, but she felt super uncomfortable too. I did use poor wording, but tried to explain compensation wasn't what I was looking for. Just wanted to do my due diligence, like do I ask for an accident report or some form of documentation that it happened, or for it to be noted in the file, but apparently that's not appropriate, either based on everything else said in the comments, considering most of y'all would have been fine with someone walking in on you being naked in your room. I didn't realize that within an hour of the event, me traveling alone, naked in my room, in a not particularly safe part of the city, with a strange man trying to open the door repeatedly, that me being shaky or in shock was a big reaction, or I need a cigarette. Good to know. This person is at war with the comments. I didn't want to change rooms, only because he at least knew there was someone in there now. If I changed room, but there are also a ton of teams here, so I'd assume they were sold out when I booked. There were little rooms left. Also, bear with me here. The microphone I am using is literally my phone. If I continue making videos, I will get a better microphone. So if you'd like to see me do that, get a better microphone, please like or subscribe. Even just liking. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to like and subscribe, of course. While there will likely be no consequences for not liking and subscribing, you never know for sure. Once again, I am Nova, and I am a human, not an AI.